Hey guys, it's Michael. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. As usually, I will keep the intro short today. As you love the series with the 5 best cues for the pull-ups, we continue with muscle-ups. So stay tuned for the video. Cue number 1, the pulling starts in the elbow. When we're taking a look at the leverage of the latissimus overhead, we can see that it barely has any leverage to pull our shoulder in extension, so to move the arm backwards. So if we want to have a powerful lift off in the muscle up and secondary a pulling path that is very close to the bar, we should focus on not only bringing the arm down, but primarily in the lift off, bending the arm. So what you can think of is basically the movement starts with that reverse curl motion. Let me show you how a muscle up often can look if you're not applying this cue. It looks like this. People accelerating away from the bar. So you have this huge curve of pull. Better start with the elbow. Start with that reverse biceps curl and boom, you pull very close to the bar. And you have a nice vertical body position and a solid power output. Okay, I'm now doing a bit of a risky advertisement because now as I'm looking on our IG page, the King of Weighted one, you should definitely follow it, we have 9,927 followers. So when this video is coming out, which will be this Sunday, so as I'm recording, it's 1st of July, and the video will come out 7th. Make sure to check out the King of Weighted shop because we will have a promotion running to thank you for your amazing support, for the amazing community and 10,000 weighted calisthenics enthusiasts that are following us on Instagram. We will have epic discounts, especially on the street lifting program. Also some other nice deals you don't want to miss. So make sure to check out the shop and yeah, hopefully I don't mess it up and we really keep gaining some followers so we have the 10,000 once the video is out. Cue number 2, use as little swing as possible. If you are starting to train muscle ups, it's most likely that you need a little bit of swing in order to create some momentum. You will also use a bit of kicking, a bit of hip drive, a bit of knee kick, and that is totally fine. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the phase where you are in your training when it's all about cleaning up the muscle up, adding a bit of weight, making it more efficient. And here we want to use little range of motion. That means we want to pull vertically and very close to the bar as we already learned in Q1. And how can we do that? With very little swing. So instead of going all the way to the front, what you're going to do is you just gently swing in. That's about it. Just that. Because what happens is you are less likely to have a bad timing. You don't need to play around with a lot of inertia of the additional weight once you're loading it up, because if you have like 20-25 kg accelerating to the front and then back, this can fuck up your movement big time. So very little swing is the way to go. So instead of this, we want to go with very little gentle swing like this. Muscle up cue number 3 is to pull in the lower reversal point or even shortly after. Sounds very easy to do, but the muscle up timing is actually one of the hardest part to master. Why is it so important to hit the timing? if we're moving forward with weighted muscle ups, the weight has a certain inertia. So a force that we need to put into the weight to break down the movement, to decelerate it, and then to accelerate it into the desired direction. So if we can pull at a point in time where there is less inertia because the additional weight is at rest or even is already accelerating a bit into the direction that we pull, so shortly after the reversal point, then we are very, very efficient. And if you load up the muscle up at a certain point with 10, 15, 20, 30 kg, it will mess up your muscle up big time if you don't hit the timing. Because if you pull too early, it will negate a lot of your power. If you pull too late, the weight will move you back big time. So mastering the timing is crucial. So I'm now trying to show you what happens if we pull too early, and I hope you can see that the weight is still moving forward while I'll already pull. So let's see if we can make that happen. Pretty hard to see. Now I'm trying to show you what perfect timing looks like with that. Reversal point. And then I don't need to fight against the inertia big time, but I rather use it to my advantage. Cue number 4, as easy as we had it with the pull-ups, and that is eyes on the bar. When we're performing muscle-ups and we're swinging in, eyes on the bar, because the vision will guide the movement. And when we're transitioning, we also let the vision follow so that it's easier for us to balance and easier for us to create the power output in the right direction. So we're looking at the bar and we're keeping the vision down when we transition. As easy as that. Cue number 5, during the transition, focus on pulling your elbows behind the body. There is no one-size-fits-all transition technique, but the technique that is the most efficient and the most sustainable for most athletes' shoulders is that when you go in the transition is that you bring the elbows behind the body. So we're keeping a rather shoulder-wide grip and we don't focus on flaring sideways, which is still a reasonable technique. If you're used to that, if you learned it like that, perfectly fine, no critique for that technique. But for most athletes, it just creates a bit too much stress for their shoulders to handle, especially in the phases where the muscle-up transition is not that controlled. So better is we think of starting to pull with the elbows until we pull roughly chest level at bar, and then you bring the elbows back. And depending on how good your shoulder extension is, you will have a bit of a natural flare in your elbows anyway, which is perfectly fine. So, eyes on the bar, perfect timing, and we pull elbows first, and then arms behind the body. So while I was recording my 5 best cues for the muscle ups, I realized that there is one important cue missing, and that is create yourself a proper setup so that you can enter from a box. Because the moment you need to jump on the box and you need to somewhat start adjusting your swing after the jump on the bar, your muscle up will be not efficient and you won't have sufficient control on the long run. So make sure that you have a box that allows you to grab the bar comfortably, where you can set yourself up in a proper body tension to then swing in and apply all the cues that you learned.